What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Crown & Caliber. Guys, you've heard me talk about Crown & Caliber a lot. Here's the deal. If you're buying a luxury watch on the internet, you want to buy it from somewhere reputable, but you also don't want to buy it brand new because for most watches, it's just you're just throwing money away. So, Crown & Caliber has an amazing selection of watches from Rolex, Omega, Breitling, Patek, AP, Cartier, you name it, they probably got it. Over 2,000 watches in stock. Then they've got a team of watchmakers and technicians in-house to make sure these pieces are working as advertised. The pieces you see on the website are the actual pieces you're buying. But more importantly, you can trade up. You can trade in or trade out. Crown & Caliber buys watches from you. They'll trade watches with you, or they'll sell watches to you. You can do it all very easily at crownandcaliber.com. We've got a discount code. TST175 gets you $175 off your first watch at Crown & Caliber, but also they are giving away a Rolex Submariner. Really, really nice piece of hardware, guys. I've had a sub for a very long time, and it's dope. You can get one for free if you go to crownandcaliber.com/TST. crownandcaliber.com/TST. Check it out. And if you're looking to buy a luxury watch on the internet, look no further than Crown & Caliber. We're also brought to you by Auto Tempest. Autotempest.com is the best place to find a used car on the internet. You know why? Because it's all of the internet in one place. Auto Tempest, all you got to do is you fill out the box one time and it searches the entire internet for those cars for you. It fills out all the rest of the website's boxes for you when you just do it once. Listen, you're a somebody. Your time is worth money. I know that, and you know that. Don't waste it. Save it with Autotempest.com. They've got your back. We love having them as a sponsor. They've been with us for a while. They compare all of those results all over the internet with national Craigslist, eBay, and AutoTrader. It's a great thing, guys. Autotempest.com for all your used car searching needs, whether you want to buy, sell, or you're just casually browsing. Lastly, I'm throwing in my own ads now. Westside Collector Car Storage. If you're in LA or if you come to LA a lot, you know what it is like to keep a sports car in this town. We have these amazing roads. We're so fortunate we get to drive them. We got PCH, we got the Angeles Forest, but then the city sucks. It's annoying. Westside Collector Car Storage is here for you guys. I designed it. We designed the facility with the collector in mind for the most convenient, the most secure, and the coolest place to hang out. It's just ideal. Go to westsidecollectorcarstorage.com, see what it's all about. We're taking deposits and reservations for an opening that will be very, very soon. All right, that's it. On this episode of the show, me, Zack, and Vinny sit down in studio and get back together for the first time in a bit. I bought a Vespa, so I'm going to talk about that. Vinny bought a truck. He's going to talk about that. And we talk about Barrett-Jackson and the Scottsdale Auctions that happen this time of year. And it's a fun show. We answer a bunch of your questions, too. It's me, Zack, and Vin on the Smoking Tire Podcast.
Hello, everybody. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. We are back. Vincenzo has been on the fucking road for like 10 days in Phoenix, Scottsdale, auctions, Barrett-Jackson. So we got all the auctions happening. He was doing some boothing, and he left with a fucking 6x6 pickup truck.
You are shaking the table so much.
Yeah, stop flopping things on the table.
Dude, they're Bibles.
I know. They're great. He came back. He left with a 6x6 pickup truck and came back with a 1,000 horsepower Jeep. So yay!
And a 600 LT.
Oh, is it here?
It'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
What?
Hennessy tuned a 600 LT and put Hoosiers on it.
Oh my God.
Full race.
What's it run in the quarter?
I don't know.
Are you allowed to say yet?
I don't know.
Oh,
it's got to be in the 10s.
It's got to be.
He used it for Coda. He takes it to Coda and runs it at Coda.
That's probably fun.
Yeah.
We should take it to South Speedway.
He said you could do whatever you wanted with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice to hear people say that. Thanks, John. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So Vin was off doing Barrett-Jackson, but he also bought a new vehicle. which is very important to discuss because it's fucking great. And I bought a new vehicle as well.
Yes,
I sold a vehicle and bought a vehicle.
Yours is way cooler than mine.
I'm super psyched about my Vespa GTS 300.
I can't believe you got the buy of the year in the first week of January.
I scored. I
You're
scored
not,
it, dude. I
you're
didn't
not
have to
getting a better
haggle
deal
that
than that
much.
the rest of the year.
I could keep this thing for a decade. It's great. This I got a 2018 Yamaha, not Yamaha. Jesus, where's my brain? All right, hang on. Reset. 2018 Vespa. I sold a Yamaha. I sold it to my trainer Nick. He's a fucking meathead, and it's funny. It's real funny watching him ride it. It must be really funny watching me ride that too. I probably look just like a little fat idiot on this thing, but
worse for him.
He looks like, because he's like actually got muscles and things. He really looks like he should be on a Gixxer.
Yeah. Or a Hayabusa. Yeah, Hayabusa.
But he's really about it. He's super excited because now, because as a trainer, he goes around to different gyms and to people's houses. And so now he doesn't have to fuck with parking. He can just park right up front. He doesn't have to pull this bullshit at my house, which is like, is there a spot in the garage? Is there not a spot in the garage? Like, he's all about scooter life. By the way, I'm like an evangelist for scooters.
Yeah.
Amir, who's Hannah's trainer, and Nick, who are my trainer, have now both bought scooters.
It just makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense in the city. And so I had the Yamaha, the 125, for like 5 years, and I put like 4,000 miles on it. And I sold it to Nick, and now I've always wanted a Vespa 300 because so I was debating whether or not to buy one new or used, and I found this one on Craigslist, and it's this beautiful like limited edition green color. And so the 300, in the photos I put on Instagram, there's no real frame of reference, but the 300s are like 20% bigger than the 150s, like than the regular. So people are like, yo, that's mad sketchy. It's like, if you've seen those like Bergman things, like those kind of like bigger old man lazy boy scooters, you know those things?
Oh yeah.
They have them in Florida a lot.
Oh, yeah.
They sort of look like the Judge Dredd bikes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like almost the size of that, but not as like long.
Yeah.
But it's bigger
The
than
proportions are good.
No, they're the same as a regular Vespa.
I can't
it's
believe
just
how comfortable
20%
it is.
bigger. And because I'm 20% bigger than the average person who rides a Vespa, it actually fits me. Like, I look like normal on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't look like Bowser in
I
the
don't look
go-kart.
oversized. And also the shape of the seat and stuff is like, it's actually way better for my back. And so the 300 is a water-cooled engine. It's actually got a radiator in the front. That's the black thing there.
Yeah.
That's the exit for the radiator. It has it's like 25 horsepower compared to 9 horsepower of the 125.
Whoa, that's
So
significant.
Yeah.
So the reason I wanted it, not just because it was bigger and more comfortable, but like to get across this city at the shit times. And I'm sorry to do a lot of inside baseball about this one, but like, Zach, do me a favor, pull up a Google Maps,
right.
Google Maps of Venice Beach to Soot Bull Jeep, which is my favorite Korean barbecue restaurant. And it's one of the most inconvenient places. It's probably the worst drive I could do in Los Angeles. From Venice Beach to Soot Bull Jeep on a Friday afternoon is about 90 minutes, and it's like maybe 18 or 19 miles.
Yeah, it's insane.
Let's see. How far is that, Zach? Even to do it right now.
And it's a holiday.
Yeah, to do it
For some people, it's a holiday.
yeah.
Yeah, so to do it right now is an hour, and it's 15 miles. Okay, and so basically to do it in a scooter at the worst possible time, is about 36 minutes.
Oh,
right?
huge difference.
It's a huge.
If you switch from car to bicycle, it only gets longer by 13 minutes.
Yeah, so that's
that's a good example.
That's what
right
we're
there.
dealing
Yeah.
with, and so that's a real thing, and like, so there's great restaurants and things on the other side of town. Like Koreatown is the shit, but it's really inconvenient to go there at the times you want to go.
I
there.
didn't believe, like, when I first moved here, like I had a buddy in Redondo Beach.
Leave
and
that
I was
map
like,
up, Zach.
I was like, come visit me, and it's 6 miles. He's like, I'm not coming.
I'm
up
not
there.
doing that. Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about?
So look at this map. So I went to that restaurant recently, and my wife left the house at exactly the same time as me in the Jag. Right? I was on the old scooter. She was in the Jag. Look at that drive in the exact same amount of time. I got to Soot Bull Jeep, and she got to the Culver, where it says Culver City. I got literally probably 60 twice as far and then a little bit in the same amount of time on a scooter. Like that's how much more convenient we're talking about here at the worst time. So anyway, scooters fucking rule. I got into a bit of some fucking shit with the commenters on Instagram because I bought this bike in Cerritos, which is 35 miles away. Yeah. So I rode it home. Like,
that's what you bought it for.
So the point of that map is I, on a scooter, could get that much further than my wife, and I didn't go on the highway at all. But imagine I had a bike that was just fast enough to go on the highway. So this bike does a top speed of like 90.
Yeah.
It will cruise at like 75. And I really intend to go 65 to 7, you know.
Well, most of the time you're going to be on the highway, it's going to be stopped anyway. That's the whole point.
That's the problem, right? With the old bike, even if it was dead stopped on the highway, I would be so nervous about reaching that maximum and running out of power that I just didn't do it at all. This, at least I can go highway speeds. So if I, have to go highway speeds, it's fine. I wrote in my little comment on Instagram here and the caption that I cruised at 75 on the freeway all the way home. I didn't buy this fucking thing to go 75 on the freeway. I bought it to ride around the city and occasionally ride on the freeway.
To have the option.
Over the hill, to go from like Venice to the Valley, which you never want to have to do at shitty times either. The old scooter couldn't do it because you couldn't go on the fucking freeway, and it's a giant mountain.
Or the canyons. You were saying you took the scooter the one time where the canyons, and like it was like full throttle, like barely getting you up the hills.
Dude, I rode it over Malibu Canyon Road I rode the old scooter to Agora, dude. Yeah. Over on that day when it was like gale force winds.
Yeah.
It was like 40 mile an hour winds.
Yeah. Why'd you do that?
Well, I think all the cars were
there's a reason
taken or something or gone or something, but also the traffic was so bad that I needed to lane split. Like I just wouldn't have made the thing I had to do at all in a car, and I was right. It was either very sketchy scooter or not at all car, and so for years I've been thinking about upgrading to a 300, and so
you just had to wait for the right one to fall in your lap.
Nah, I just was waiting. Finally, Nick, my trainer, was like, "Yo, let me get that scooter. I'm gonna fuck with that." And that when he took it, and I was like, it was gone for 2 days. I was like, I need to do scooter right now.
I couldn't believe after sitting on this how uncomfortable the position on the Yamaha was. I didn't realize how uncomfortable it was until I got on this, and I was like, I mean, you sit on a scooter, you don't expect it. Like it's not going to be comfortable. It's not a couch. I mean, it is what it is. It's a scooter. You're like, I'm uncomfortable and I look stupid. No big deal. But this, you sat on. I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad.
Dude,
the seat's more comfortable. The position's great.
It's fast. It's comfortable. And like, look, when Zack met me, I was dailying a motorcycle, like an actual motorcycle, like a Suzuki SV650.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to daily a motorcycle around LA. I am not. So many people are like, but just get an Enduro. Dude, just get a You don't understand. The ability to not have to wear motorcycle boots most of the time is like, if I was going on a highway trip, I'd wear motorcycle boots.
If you had a full-size motorcycle, we couldn't fit in the garage.
True. And also, exactly.
When I bring mine home, it's got to sit outside. And
what does this weigh compared to like a normal bike?
Oh, it's so light. It's so, even compared to a small motorcycle, it's super light.
Like 200 pounds or something?
It can't be more than...
I don't know. I actually don't know. You want to Google the weight? GTS 300 Super weight? They have two. They have a plastic-bodied one, and they have a steel-bodied one. Mine is the plastic body. Okay. 348 pounds.
Oh, it's about the weight of... And that's dry. That's about the weight of like a 600, right?
Maybe, yeah. But it's low. All the weight is really, really low.
Yeah.
The gas tank is all down low and shit. It's 412 for a 600. So it's
50
like,
pounds less is a lot.
It's like 30% lighter than a sport bike, and with a very low center of gravity. But it has, compared to the 150, it's got bigger wheels, better brakes, heavier duty shocks.
Oh, everything
about it is beefier. You just, in the photos, you can't see the context of one next to a
and this is going to sound funny saying it with a scooter, but I looked it over really good, and the build quality is actually really good. Like, which sounds odd
Vespas
to say.
Are nice.
But it's...
I mean, it should be good, right?
Yeah, I mean, but like,
Bro, this thing, and the sticker price on this thing in 2018 was $8,700. That was really expensive.
For a scooter.
I didn't pay that.
Yeah. No.
I bought it, I bought it with 990 miles on it for 60% of that. yeah, boy. And there's not a scratch on that thing. It's mint.
Yeah.
I'm so
Plus,
excited.
it was crazy when I think you had you borrowed someone's Vespa years and years ago.
John Lee. Remember
And it
John
was
Lee?
it was
John
like
Lee's.
the price tag on it. I was like, what?
So
You're not gonna
that
do this for
Vespa
that.
was the super, super special edition that was like pistachio and had like the King Ranch seat, the whole, like the super tanned leather. And I think it was like $700 or $7,500 and it was a $150. I was like, damn. But it had the full chrome like handlebars like a Harley would have or a Triumph. Like it was every accessory piled on in one package. But it made me buy the Yamaha.
Made you understand the scooter life.
Fuck yeah, dude. Scooter life is legit in this city. It's so great. It's so great, you guys.
Totally.
It's
totally,
so great.
totally
I'm
sold
so
on
excited about this. I can ride the scooter so many more places now that I couldn't
you beat me
before.
here by 9 minutes, didn't you?
Yeah, dude, just from the crib to here. Vinny took the Jeep, the 1,000 horsepower Jeep, and I took the 25 horsepower scooter. And
He beat me by 9
Vinny
minutes.
by 9 minutes, and we're talking 5 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I get it.
It's not like I was babying it. I mean, that's not how I drive.
Bro, what good is 1,000 horsepower in the city? Let me tell you something of this Trackhawk. It is possibly the loudest vehicle we've ever pulled into the garage. It is an earth-shaking how fucking loud this thing is.
I don't have any pictures of it up yet.
It just looks like a Trackhawk. It doesn't look like anything.
No, and John debadged it specifically for that. It's the one from the Christmas tree video.
Oh, yeah, what'd they do, like 180 something with a Christmas tree on it?
27060.
2.7 to 60 in this Trackhawk?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. That's like Taycan fucking.
Yeah.
Yes, we should drag race a Taycan. Porsche would not be about that.
Who has one right now?
Someone's got one?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Kamisa's putting up photos.
It's
But you never know if he has one now or
we gotta like
earlier.
scour people's journalists' Instagram for like who's got the
Go find
Taycan
him.
right now. Yeah, you did. What was the number with the Christmas tree?
182. With a Christmas tree on the hood or on this roof.
How many needles were left when you were done?
A few.
Yeah.
Not many.
That's
Enough
a
to
fun
make
video.
it
There
look
it is.
like a
Yeah,
tree.
there.
World's fastest Christmas tree. That's I mean, that's fun.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
video.
well, like
I like
181 and change.
For
so
sure.
182.
I mean,
It'd be fun.
What if? what kind of trees can I put on the roof and go 190?
Menorah candles. How many are
Oh
left?
yeah, L'chaim.
You got to put it in line with the direction.
Yeah, what holiday are we working with right now? It's like Martin Luther King Day. That's not
today.
That's not
Easter's
that's not,
coming up. We could strap a rabbit to the roof.
Yep.
Peter will love
chocolate
that.
We could
rabbit.
throw. We
Some wasting chocolate.
I don't have
Put a real rabbit up there.
There's no good. I don't have a good holiday.
Well, Arbor Day's coming up. You do another
Arbor
tree.
Day. Like a maple tree.
Easter.
Giant.
No,
I
that's
don't know.
pretty
Someone
much
get in
it.
the super chat and give us a good idea to something to strap to the roof of a 1,000 horsepower Trackhawk. That can be the question of the day.
There you go.
What do you strap to the roof of a 1,000 horsepower fucking Jeep? I hope they do pads and fluid and stainless steel brake lines in that thing.
Oh yeah.
I
It's all
set the
done.
brakes on fire in a stock Trackhawk in the second lap around Road Atlanta. It was okay though.
Or meant for straight line.
It was okay.
Not really laps.
But if any of you fuckers try to give me shit about my Vespa, I'll defend my Vespa like Joe Rogan defends his
I
fanny
would
pack.
not have a year ago, and I absolutely will now.
You got to ride it. It's fucking
I haven't
amazing,
driven it yet,
dude.
but I drove that Yamaha enough times in an emergency situation that I get it.
Dude,
completely
I
get
have
it.
converted two professional bodybuilders to ride scooters in a year. These aren't even car people. They don't even give a fuck about cars. They just they were like
Their whole life is that image.
I understand.
Right.
I
That's a good
understand
point.
the convenience of this.
Yeah.
If you need a good trainer in LA, I know two good trainers in LA, and
And they're super cool guys too.
they're super good. Anyway, Vinny got a new car, and it's a very Vinny car.
It's a daily.
Zach saw
It
it.
is.
Zach saw it the other day. It's a great.
It's clean though,
It's
right?
super clean, which is
Yeah.
very Vinny.
All right, hang on. We should give the people like 5 seconds to mull over what kind of Vinny had the Q45 Touring. He's got the big 65 Caddy. Vinny likes he had the BMW. Do we ever talk about the BMW?
No, we have not said what happened to the
Are we
BMW
allowed to
yet.
talk about it yet?
We can. I mean, it's. I
Let's
haven't
just
heard
say
back yet.
there was nothing we could do about it.
She couldn't be saved.
The weight balance was moved to the rear because the engine was set back.
Yeah, it
We
definitely.
did a mid-rear conversion.
The weight distribution has definitely been improved in that car right now. So yeah, so I totaled the BMW. Likely, I have not heard officially from Allstate, but based on what the body shop said, there was
it's like a jury verdict. The longer it takes, the worse your chances are.
And the worst part about
testing.
the worst. Listen, we all drive enough miles. Accidents are going to happen. I mean, it's been decades since I got into an accident like this, especially caused one. And the worst part about it to me that got me pissed off the most is I literally just left the car wash, and that car I have to pay to have it hand washed because of the roof and how low it is. It won't go through the machine. So I spent like $45 to have the thing washed. I had just gotten back in town. It was a mess. I was like, I'm gonna get it washed. I'm gonna get it clean. It's ready to go. I left the car wash, made it a half a mile down Venice Boulevard. Guy cuts out in front of me, and I was doing 60 at least. And so I swerved.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Kilometers an hour, 60
I was in the right
kilometers
lane.
an hour.
I swerved around him because at that point he was in my lane sideways, and it was either T-bone him at 60 miles an hour or cut around him. And I cut around him, which gave me 2 or 3 car lengths enough to slow down before I rear-ended the Honda Element that was in that lane at that particular point.
That happened to be in the lane at that particular point. I'm not sure why, Your Honor.
It's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, nobody got hurt. Literally nobody got hurt other than the car.
It's kind of sad. I sort of like that car. I liked it more before you ruined it.
By lowering it.
Yeah, that car rode so good, and then it looks
so
great.
good.
No, it's so photogenic,
and so when you get out of it, when it's stopped, you're like, "This is the best this car has ever been." But you get it to drive it, and it's too stiff and too low, and you're like, "What have I done to this thing?"
Occasionally, Hannah would take it, because we got the tandem parking in the garage, and sometimes it'd be blocking in her car. Whatever, she'd take it to the store. When the first time she drove it, when he fucking lowered it, and she came back, she's like, Vinny's car's broken. I was like, no, that's not broken. That's intentional. She's like, that can't be intentional.
That was the last of the Florida in me.
Yes. I was going to say, that's the problem. You brought the Florida ideals of like smooth roads, straight highway, perfect tarmac.
That was it. That was the last of it.
Your roommate has a lifted 911, and you didn't put 2 and 2 together. In a Delica, no less.
Two off-road vehicles.
It looked so good, though.
It did.
It
looks
great. It does. It looks great. But
it looked better in that picture than it looks now, I assure you.
I was spending most of the time on the highway cruising back and forth to Anaheim when I first bought that car, so it wasn't
But
really...
you lowered it after that commute ended, didn't you?
No, it was part of it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was right at the end there, but yeah.
Venn diagram there.
Anyway.
So he needed a new daily, and rather than... you went back to more traditional Russo roots. So what did we
I found a 2002 QX4.
The best, the boxy Pathfinder, infinity'd up.
Yeah, infinity'd up.
It's very nice. Yeah. It's a good one.
It's silver, one owner, in close to the condition that the Q was in, but. I wanted an SUV with 4-wheel drive, something that I could drive over the bumps and be around town. I'm not commuting, so the gas mileage didn't really matter because the gas mileage is horrible. But it's got all the things. Look, back in 2002, it's got heated rear seats in it. I mean, it's an Infinity, so it's fully loaded. And I know not everybody likes the look of it, but I just kind of did. And
it's not bad. Look, it's inoffensive.
I got it for nothing.
Yeah.
And it's in the interior's in great condition. Everything's in great condition on it. So
I drove it the other day.
I got to paint
nice.
Yeah, I got to paint the rear bumper. Other than that, that's it.
It may need an alignment.
Yeah,
it felt like
I got to go through a few little
out
things
of alignment,
and do my fluid changes and everything else. So
are you gonna lower it?
No, I was looking at lift kits the other day. Like an inch and a quarter lift kit, putting 31s on it.
It doesn't. In the photo, it's got chromes. This one doesn't have chromes, but some 1552s could be good.
Yep.
It could be very good on that. I'm on basically the same wheels that are on the van.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice. Hannah and I are going down to San Diego this weekend for her brother's John's 50th birthday, and we were considering just stealing this.
You could have. Okay.
No, I demanded we take the van. It's like, you wanted a van.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do that. You got to do that.
But how long did that take you?
To convince her?
It won't be that.
No, to drive to San Diego in the van.
Well, we'll let you know. It's this weekend.
Oh.
But it's not that bad.
No.
What's the cruising speed in that van?
It'll do 85.
It will not. The top speed is 79.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm betting that it would take 10 to 15 minutes longer to get to San Diego in that van than in.
But worth it when you got
If
there.
you do it at rush hour, it won't change at all.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be exactly.
There you go. That's how you hedge your bet.
She's gonna be leaving. We're leaving in what? Thursday midday. It should be okay. It'll be fine. Whatever.
It's really comfortable.
Yeah, and it's not like sketchy at 70.
No.
It's just a
Dude, it rides great.
It's a 4-speed, diesel. So it runs out of gear. You actually get if it had a fucking 5-speed, it would easily go 85 or 90, but it just doesn't. It just runs out of gear. So it's not sketchy at that speed. It's
what though? It's probably
fine.
That thing hasn't been on a road trip like that probably in decades.
True.
So it's probably good to get it. I mean, you just had all that stuff fixed on
Yeah,
it, so
it's fine.
get a good run on it.
It's been driven a bunch though. We put like 2,000 kilometers on it.
Yeah, but I mean, like extended highway, like that's a good.
Oh yeah,
Take the dog to the park.
Yeah. Well, also she wanted a van.
There you go.
You want to smoke cigarettes, kid? Here's the pack.
Smoke the whole pack.
Exactly.
But I'm excited for the QX too. That's nice, and the seats are a little better than the Q45 actually.
Yeah.
I mean,
that fan,
I like
the fan thing is
Pathfinders.
weird.
Same thing.
It's you know what? It's just a good beater that I don't have to worry too much about right now until I figure out what my next toy will be.
You know who's got one of these? Marco, TLG Marco has one. He has the Pathfinder.
Yeah,
same year.
200,000 miles on it.
Yeah, with 200,000 miles, and it's the 2-wheel drive one. And he tows with it. He tows race car with it. Yeah.
What engine's in this thing?
3.5 V6. And it's got a full like transfer case with low gear and everything.
Yeah.
So it's
pretty cool.
I like this one because it also you can put it in 2-wheel drive, so it saves a little bit of the gas mileage. It's not the all-wheel drive because they did this in an all-wheel drive version as well. So I've got 4-wheel drive, but I can switch it to 2. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They went to all-wheel drive later?
yeah,
Like 03 was
yeah,
all-wheel
03
drive?
was all-wheel drive.
Oh.
The gas mileage really suffered. So.
There you go.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Right.
it's fun. It's cool. Whatever. Be
Back to
fun little toy.
shitty gas mileage for Vinny.
I don't drive enough for it to really matter.
Good.
So, and I'm not making payments on it, so I really don't care.
That's true. For that price, who gives a shit
no,
about the
I'm
fucking
not.
gas?
I'm not going to give a fuck.
It's got the
about
wood rim steering wheel.
It does have that.
It does.
Black interior, gray.
Right. Top
gray.
left is accurate.
Yeah.
It's very good, but you know what? It's
funny how much it looks like Q45 inside.
yeah, they did it, and also how much they really wanted to rip off Lexus, and they couldn't quite get there. I mean, they really, in hindsight, especially, like they were talked about as equals, but they are definitely not. No offense, Vinny.
No, but
not
I wasn't going to buy an
equals.
RX 300 either.
True. If you were, it would be more expensive than this.
Yeah.
And if you wanted a GX, it would be like way more.
Dollar for dollar, I couldn't have found a better deal.
No.
Yeah.
Truth be told, the RX. Speaking of RX 300s, in hindsight now, that 03 RX 300, which was the end of the first gen, that was my favorite one that my mom had, and I think it was, in terms of materials and build quality, it was the best of any of them.
Yeah, they were good. It was just they were front wheel drive.
I mean, yeah,
But-
they're fucking RX 300s, but like. For doing the shit that we're doing, just going around the city at all fucking Whole Foods, it's like perfect.
I mean, it was a crossover before that was a term. Really. It's really what it was.
Yeah, but the styling of it and the interior materials, the design, it's especially compared to what Lexus is doing right now, it's like so nicely restrained and tasteful, actually. The first gen IS 300 is such a nice looking car.
Yeah.
You know
Very
what I mean?
nice looking.
Like
interior too.
That first gen RX 300, especially the end, pretty nice looking cars. Get attractive design, like all those early 2000s.
And it was different. It didn't look
Lexuses.
like anything else at the time.
That's
GS
true.
It
was a nice looking car too.
Everything was very boxy otherwise.
Yeah,
at
that was
time.
the first like stylish crossover SUV.
You think they're gonna end up on like Bring a Trailer soon? Ironically, first.
Going
Ironically,
through the
at
moon.
first. Yeah. How long until it's like 4,000 mile RX 300? And it's like 50 G's. You go, what the fuck just happened here? Find all the RX 300s, guys.
Get 'em all.
Guys, get them.
There's been some LSs on there.
Yeah, LSs are strong.
How'd you like to be the guy and bring a trailer right now with a lightweight M3 that's running?
Is it running?
It's running right now, and then he had to follow Paul Walker's at $380,000.
Wait, his went for what?
There's
No,
one.
but that was
There's one on
one.
Bring a Trailer right now. I think it's at $50,000 last I checked. It's not over yet. But like, how would you like to be that guy having to you just sat there and watch all of Paul Walker's cars go for $300,000? He's either sitting there going, I can't, just let's do it,
I think big numbers at auctions are good. Unless it's tapped out. But one of those lightweights got 380, right?
Yeah.
But not all of them. It was the one that had like no fucking miles on it, right?
Yeah.
Do you have that up still, Zach? The top 10s or whatever, the good Barrett-Jackson sellers?
We have the highlights here.
Yeah, what do we got? Let's go to some Barrett-Jackson highlights because Vinny was there.
Looks like
all week.
4GT went for 1.5.
Red 4GT, no stripe. I like it. That's a charity. The Lexus LC 500 convertible for charity, $2 million bucks.
Yeah, that was.
I really like. I mean, how excited are we for that LC 500 convertible?
Looks really good.
That is nice.
Yeah, not many cars look that good with the top
sharp.
down.
Yeah, the interior in that is sharp.
Isn't it? Is it just the lighting though? Does it look like it's like kind of bent, like inverse Titanic in this picture?
No, I think that's part of the design language. But yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. Some of it's lighting,
maybe just accentuating
following the curve of the earth.
Probably,
it's following the curve of the earth.
It's that long. It's 140-mile wheelbase.
You can't fit it at WCCS. I'm sorry, I have to charge you for a tandem. So there's Paul's lightweight. That's 385,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the one that had like no miles on it. Another 4GT 1.1. So these are pretty. I mean, these are very strong numbers for the modern cars.
Yeah.
ZL1 Copo Camaro, $1.1 million.
Wow.
All of Paul's did over 200,000 except for one.
All the lightweights did.
All the lightweights did. Yeah. So he had a 95, 350. 91 BMW went for 200.
That's an E30.
That's an E30. The other E30 M3 went for 150, and then the other lightweights went for 200, 235, 220.
Okay, so Paul, I think the Paul Walker Premium on an otherwise fairly mundane collectible is 100 to 150%, right?
Yeah, I agree.
A great E30 M3 is a $100,000 car.
Yeah,
and the
lightweights weren't that much better.
Fucking suck, dude.
But
Lightweights
yeah, they're
are
just
so
like,
lame.
they're kind of rare and they get talked about, but they're just really not that good.
They're rare. They're just rare. Lightweights are like, I'm sorry, we're not going to give you guys the good engine, but here's one without air conditioning.
And a sticker. It's got a sticker on it.
You want to talk Paul Walker Premium?
Yeah.
Lot 373.1. 2000 Audi S4.
Okay. That's a B5 S4.
Yep, B5 S4.
With how many miles? Probably like 26.
Is it nice? Does it have no details? Does it look nice?
I saw it in person.
Yeah.
It wasn't showroom quality.
Okay, a B5 S4 is like a $12,000 car.
That's a 2.7 twin turbo V6. Yeah.
If it's decent, it's like a $12,000 car.
You sure it's not a $27,000 car?
For him?
That's what it went for.
I think that's exactly what we said.
29.7.
That's 100. Yeah, that's 100 to 150% premium. Yeah.
The funny part about that is as I left Sunday night, Barrett-Jackson, I saw it pulled over on the side of the road, broken down.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
that's a bummer for somebody.
Someone was like, "Look, I got a reliable driver. It's got Paul Walker's name on it."
Yeah, no.
I think it was. I wasn't particularly interested in any of the cars that were being sold from his estate. All the really good shit they kept.
Yeah.
All the JDM stuff and the GT3s they kept. So I didn't really care about that kind of stuff. I saw Chris Jacobs' car went for charity and they got like $390,000. They got big money, right?
Yeah.
For our homie Chris Jacobs' car. What'd that Heritage GT go for?
440.
440. That's gonna be 0 miles. I bet that car
it's fully loaded
has plastic on it.
It was pretty close.
It is because 4GTs are actually kind of flat.
They are. That's why I'm surprised by this number.
Yeah.
A few years ago, this was also like 400.
Yeah, they're kind of flat. I mean, it's actually it's a good car to. Not one of those ones with plastic on it, but to buy a 4GT that's got a few miles on it, it's actually a great value to put a few miles on it because they are flat and the mileage there's like levels, and if you keep it within your level, like if you buy a car with 10,000 miles on it and you take it to 13 or 14, that's within the level. If you go past like 20, now it's in a different level, and once it's over 20, you're good until about 40. There's like the levels. Now we're in driver. You know what I mean? And then up, and then there's high mileage above that. So, so if you keep it within your kind of range, you can put some miles in the car, which is good.
Yeah, it was an insane event this year.
RM was John Bothwell I was following.
There was Bonhams.
He was at RM,
Gooding, Russo, and Steele, plus Barrett-Jackson all going on at the same time.
RM seemed down a little bit. Some of the numbers, it was like estimates, for 2.2, we're getting 1.7. I'm just looking. Dino for 340 is pretty low for a Dino. 120 for the kind of Corvette that RM would sell is relative. What's that Countach?
Countach 268.
5000 S for 268. That's a little. Actually, I mean that's pretty good for a 5000 S.
Yeah.
I'm not a big S fan. It's less powerful than the QV, but it's a very pretty car. And that's pretty on market for that. Maybe a little soft. What is that? 512 BBI sold for $329. That's strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Senna's a no sale. Okay.
I think there was like 4 Sennas for sale.
That
all
Sunbeam
over the place.
Tiger Nart. Can you get more pictures of that? That is incredibly hot.
And it went for 200.
200 grand for a
Sunbeam.
Harrington Alpine Nart coupe. Well, being a coupe. Oh, look at that.
Cool.
That, I mean, it's got a Ferrari logo on the side.
It does. It's got a lot of lights, a lot of rally lights in the front, little oil cooler in the front. This is very much like
does this have like a my other car is a Ferrari GTO?
Look at the proportions.
Oh my god, it's awesome from the side. Look at this.
So
got
weird
coupe
looking.
Roof. Wow, what a great! It's really done up like a Ferrari GTO too. Look at the blue seat.
It's kind of
like very
if
60s Ferrari.
If someone can imagine a Sunbeam, but then the roof was grafted from a Beetle, like an original Beetle, because it extends almost all the way back to the fins, like almost to the bumper.
Accurate, actually.
That's fucking cool. I think that's 200 grand well spent.
Wow,
that thing is rad. I bet that's a lot.
Got race history. It looks like.
Oh shit! Look at that, racing against a Ferrari. How about that?
12 hours of Sebring.
Oh wow!
Wow, leading a Ferrari 268 SP.
That's fantastic.
Okay, that's amazing.
That's well bought. So I thought, what's that Testarossa at down there? 76,000 for an 87 TR.
Sold.
So I thought Testarossas were really on their way up aggressively. I mean, obviously every car is different.
I've seen a lot that's still for sale here. Also,
how about the yellow TR? 512 TR sold for 179 grand. Wow, that's the premium for a 512 TR over a Testarossa. 2.3 for a Wyra Roadster. Actually, I think is soft. I think that should have gone for more.
They're so amazing.
They're hard to come by too.
Amazing. Now it's crazy.
467 for a black Daytona is soft.
Yeah, that is soft for that.
Yeah, Daytonas were like 600-700 grand.
For the same money as that Sunbeam, you could get a 2014 458 GT3 race car.
The Ferris Bueller car got 300 grand, and
the prop car.
Yeah, the prop car got 300 grand.
Oh, there's 275 on the. Go down a little bit.
The Dumb and Dumber truck got like 50 grand.
I'm sorry.
Really?
Which truck? The Sheepdog?
The Sheepdog truck was there.
That was being sold. Got 50 Gs.
Yeah. The family
bought.
The family truckster.
Well, honestly, well bought.
I look. Trust me, I seriously considered it. I watched the bidding, thinking about it. The family truckster was there also for sale.
Oh, 56 Continental Mark II for 64 is a strong price. Okay, so that's up. Carrera GT for 786 is static.
Okay, what about the 914.6 that went for $995,000?
That's got it's got provenance though. Yeah. There's something to it. Yeah. There's more to that than just
$995,000 for 914.
It was a record for 914s.
I mean,
there's more to it. But
I mean, it wasn't just like a run of the mill one, but still. It's still a 914.
It's not it's not $1 million driving experience. I've driven one. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So these seem a little on the soft side. Wow, an F12 70th anniversary for $414,000. It must have been brand new.
I'm all about that Alfa Romeo SC.
Alfa SC for 60 grand. You ever seen an SC in person? They are some weird looking cars.
Weird and cool. 65 Riv. So nice.
That's
35. Great looking car.
I mean, I think overall it's a little on the soft side. But what do we have Gooding as well?
If you were at Barrett on like Monday or Tuesday, there were some deals. Like I think Tuesday went almost the entire day without a car going over like 30 grand.
Oh, wow. That's like the early days.
The early days are where it's at. Yeah. I mean, you really have to. I could have had 50 grand in my pocket on Monday and Tuesday and doubled my money by Wednesday.
Really?
Oh yeah, there were some deals there.
They just went by. Why are we doing that?
That and Sunday night, you would not believe what a ghost town. Saturday is the big day. This is the book for Saturday. Okay, just the book for Saturday. This is the rest of the auction.
Oh, wow.
All of the other days.
Yeah.
So Saturday is where all the hype is. That's where everybody is. So by Sunday, everybody's out of money. Everybody's out of steam. Everybody's hungover.
Yeah.
The vendors are over. Like they're packing up at noon because I know because we started.
You did.
And so Sunday night or Monday and Tuesday, that's where it's at. Like with 50 grand, you could easily, if you shop right, you could easily, even with all the fees and everything else, you could easily double your money.
My favorite thing in Barrett-Jackson is the sideshow. that mile of flea market, and you can get some cowboy boots or a massage chair or a turbine-powered fan boat.
They had
or a gun. I mean, anything.
They had the rideable drones there. They had a guy at the booth, like it was the human-sized drone
motorcycle thing.
That was there. Had a booth there.
I like the massage chair booth a lot. There's a guy who's selling vintage Rolexes and says they're all legit, and then the other side of his booth, he's selling fake vintage bezels, and it's like, oh, you've never combined these products at all. Yeah. And the neon signs and all that crazy stuff.
That was this book here.
There's a lot of automobilia, license plates.
A lot of auction.
That was a lot of really cool. Like the small pit bikes were big this year.
Oh
Zack,
yeah,
small
monkeys.
Pit bikes.
Like RC-70.
They were going for $1,000, 1,500 all day long.
Yeah,
there were some really cool ones there.
All right, we need to plan this for next year. Now that you've scoped it, do you see any highlights there from Gooding, Zack?
Gooding unfortunately does list view, not
they don't
like
do
a tiled view.
That's
so it's
annoying.
You got to read.
2006 Ford GT Heritage, the same, $385,000 flat.
300 SL Roadster for $1 million.
That's about right.
Oh, here's a 06 Ford GT Heritage Edition, $385. So just slightly less than the other one.
Yeah, flat. Same. Just depends on some miles, really. Those are the pretty predictable market. McLaren P1 1.1. I think that's down actually a little bit. Corvette 426. Yeah, I mean, Gooding seems maybe a little stronger. Miura for 1.2. Okay, that's not bad. There's the 914 6 GT for $1 million. Can we get a Ferrari F50? Can we learn more about that?
3.2 for a Ferrari F50.
F50s very rarely go for. Oh, that's a race car.
They very rarely
factory built.
One of 6. Go ahead.
Factory built 914 6 GT. One of only 16 customer cars for 1970. Delivered new to French-Canadian racing driver and journalist Jacques Duval. Got first in class at the 24 Hours of Daytona, fourth in class at 12 Hours of Sebring. Several noted Porsche collectors have owned it. And yeah.
So it's got all the goods.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's the most expensive 914 ever sold, because it has all the fucking goods.
With the fender flares, I like these cars. There were some pretty badass ones at Luft this year.
I mean, it's also a 914 6, which is a whole other thing.
2018.
But it's still not that. I've driven one.
I know. I know. I drove one too.
Yeah. You know, you're like, I get it, but I also it needs more.
Yeah.
They got $84,000 for an 18 SRT Demon.
That's low. Aren't Demons more than that?
Didn't they sell for 100 originally?
They're just about that new. Yeah.
Bentley Continental T. Yeah.
512 BBL.
Oh, wow. A 72 Daytona Spider for 1.9? That seems low, actually, if it's a real one and not a conversion. It might be a conversion. 550 Barchetta, $400,000. That's on the market. 308 Ferrari for $52,000.
Ferrari F50 for 3.2.
Yeah,
F50s are good.
Wow.
Look at that. 5,200 miles. Someone drove it a little bit. That's good. Texas owned.
That's on my top 3 list of favorite cars of all time.
They're the jam, aren't they? They didn't
I
get
know
enough
everybody's.
love.
I know everybody's F40, but that car drives way better than the F40, and I just
looks like Gooding might have done a little better than RM.
Gooding had some really cool cars there. Just in general, you go down that list.
Fuck, a 991 GT3 for $200,000.
Yeah.
What? Wow, XJ220 for $340. That's a deal. That's well bought. That's soft. Those were $400,000 or $500,000 a year or two ago.
To watch when the alcohol starts flowing, how different the prices change.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
was hilarious.
And Spike told me this whole story about these fucking like loan sharks that hover around the auctions, and if you are pretty much good for it but don't have the cash on you, like they'll straight up front you. Like they're good. $2 million
for a Tucker.
It's on the money.
So here's
Tuckers usually go for about that.
Here's the trick of Barrett-Jackson, and a little inside info here. So if you're walking around Barrett-Jackson, you see the bidder badges, and the numbers will go from 1 to 5,000, something like that.
Second from the bottom, Zack. 180, 308 GT4. Yeah, sorry. Go
ahead. The trick that I was told from Barrett-Jackson is, from a vendor standpoint, is the lower the bidder number, the more important they are to Barrett-Jackson.
Oh, yeah, good trick.
So if a guy comes up to your booth and he's like bidder 5,000, you're like, okay, you're a bidder, so you're spending money. But then the next guy comes up and he's bid number 300, you're like, yeah, come on in, have a seat.
Wow,
what do you need? So that's kind of the funny thing to see.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna be looking at everyone's medallion.
That's what everybody does.
I asked Zack to pull this up because there's a 308 GT4 for $140,000.
See, that's why they call this week at Scottsdale is home of the Whistling Gophers.
What?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
That is a new term that I learned 5 years ago at Barrett-Jackson from another vendor that was there next to me in the booth next to us. He's like, here comes a week of whistling gophers. And I was like, look, dude, I've been doing this a long time. I was like, what the fuck is a whistling gopher?
Yeah.
He's like, when they walk up to your booth and they're like, how much that gopher? And you tell them and they're like, it's like, holy fuck.
That's very funny.
Home of the whistling gophers.
These are good looking cars, 140.
That's a lot of money for one of those. I mean, you can buy one that's,
it's got all the tools.
That's probably $20,000 for the toolkit.
I mean,
Camisa's kind of works, doesn't it?
Camisa's works pretty well.
Because he drives it.
Yeah. The one I drove, the guy drove it. His works, but I said, how often does it break? He said, every day.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he was like, it's got something, but it does. It did. He drove from Colorado, but he attended to things every day.
Really?
Yeah. Like the night before I drove it, the wiring caught on fire for some reason.
Really?
Like a relay got stuck in something. Well, he took it to a car wash and they sprayed something wrong, and then it caught a wire and he smelled smoke and like he had to fix the thing.
Oh, wow. I mean, not surprising. Okay.
Yeah. It's like a 70s Ferrari.
Yeah.
Part of the ambiance with that car.
You know how we talk a lot? We're like, how isn't it great that supercars work every day all the time now? That just happened.
Like 5 years ago.
Chevy's been reliable pretty much since like the
5 years
50s.
ago.
Yeah.
Good point. All right. Well, Barrett, I think Sunday's the way to do that.
Yeah. Monday or Tuesday or
Zimmer
Sunday.
Quicksilver for 20 G's.
Dude, you need that.
That is a horrendous looking.
Bro, that's fucking terrible and awesome. That's based on a Fiero.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a terrible car, but also kind of a great one.
Do you like Lincoln Continentals and Fieros? Have we got a car for you?
Put them together.
Put them together, man.
Put them together.
See what this Viper. Okay.
Vipers were on the 114 grand ACR final edition for an 02. They were on the
there
bull
was
list,
a 90. There was a
bull list.
96 GTS, just like the one that I have, with 11,000 miles. I went for 50 grand, which I thought was a little low.
$720,000 for the Vector.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did that come from? What? Callaway Corvette twin turbo convertible for 56 G's? Stole it.
That's terrifying.
Stole it.
Terrifying.
I drove one of those. Remember I made that video of that? It was the fucking strangest car you could imagine. The twin turbos, it was so weird. It redlined, I believe, at 5,200 RPM. It was like a diesel. It was like 480 horsepower and 600 pounds of torque, and it had the shortest. It ran out of gears like crazy fast. You're always like shifting. It was real dumb, but it was like driving a sports car with a diesel engine.
Did it feel like you're driving a car with just a shortened like final ratio?
Yeah, kind
you had
of.
to shift so much.
You just ran out of revs. I mean, kind of.
How many speeds did it have in the trans? It's like a 4? Or is it
5?
Okay.
Manual 5, I guess.
I
never saw
fifth,
above
or?
fourth gear.
Okay.
I think because it was on. I drove it on this like short, one of the two short shitty Texas racetracks. I think it was called Driveway or something like that. I don't know. It was shanty, but the car was like a floaty Oldsmobile, but with really sharp steering and a fucking diesel truck engine. Basically, but it looks so cool.
Just needs that air intake.
I mean, you can get a Radwood trophy with this. You can get a best in show at Radwood with a car like this. I want. It's one of those cars you want to own in your collection,
but you don't know why.
Drive.
Yeah, just to say that is a museum piece. It's automotive history, and
I want the Speedster one. That crazy green Speedster thing.
It's an elongated body.
It was so silly, but it was just so, it was like in that perfect 1993 Aqua. The perfect color.
I would take it to forensics and just tell them, I want to see how much coke is in the seats of this car.
Yeah, the Sledgehammer Speedster. There it is. Oh, it's so good. The green.
Yeah, you got to do
Wait,
They painted it a couple different. They made a couple of them are painted in different colors. Yeah, that one. That thing. That's it. The Speedster, like, fuck it. Porsche can do a Speedster. Do a Corvette Speedster. That shit is the jam. Doesn't that look good? I think it looks good.
Yeah.
No?
I just the nostrils back toward the windshield remind me of people that just stick on extra scoops. Like they stop at a Dairy Queen and they're like, "Would you like to add a $3 roof scoop?" And you're like, "Yes."
That'd be a funny bit in like a car parody show. There's the most commonly applied fake hood scoops I'm seeing now are actually on G-Wagons. The Brabus.
The Brabus ones.
The Brabus fake hood. That shit is embarrassing.
Yeah, why?
I can't believe somebody who's got $200,000 to spend would glue something like that on their fucking hood.
Yeah, I'm normally a big fan of
assholes.
Brabus everything, and their G-Wagon kit is embarrassing. Like I saw it. I saw it at Pebble Beach, and it's all plastic.
It's terrible. It's glued on. It's glued on.
50 grand.
Yeah, what do you need? You know, you can't. You could tell everybody it was Paul Walker's. Fucking, they won't know. What, are they gonna look up the red?
50 grand is what it should go for.
I don't know if I would.
We're talking about M3 lightweight. Zach just pulled up the M3 lightweight. He is. I mean, it's a really mint.
I texted.
It's not that mint,
I texted Shivam, and I was like, "Hey," I was like, "How excited are you right now?" I was like, 300 grand for a M3 lightweight.
He's got one.
like, "I'll never sell mine. It's too fun to drive." And
that's
I was like, "All right, well."
Absolute horse shit, Shivam, and you know it. You know what the difference is to drive one of these lightweights versus driving like a regular ass E36? Nothing. Basically nothing. Cannot tell the difference.
20 horsepower. It's like
I think it's 200 pounds.
It's really low.
Yeah.
And which you could easily remove from any M3, and no air conditioning, no radio, that kind of shit. And I think maybe a couple little horsepower. I drove like a museum example one of it. It sucked. They suck.
The extended wing too.
They're lame.
It's right. The headliner was falling down in the museum one. It's because, I mean, we've said this before. It's factory 90s BMW.
Yeah.
That's all.
I tried to convince my father to buy one of those when they were new. He thought it was the dumbest thing in the world.
He was right.
He was like, "You want me to buy a car with no air conditioning or radio?" Nah. Yeah. He was right.
Like
the Cobra R.
Oh God. I think I'd rather have a Cobra.
Yeah, because that's got some shit going.
I would have. If we want to go to 95, I would rather have a 1995 Mustang Cobra R than a actual. A Mustang Cobra R came with a completely different engine.
Yeah,
you got a 351 in a Cobra.
It was
R.
so big you could not fit air conditioning in that car.
Not the 2000, Zach. No, ew.
Oh, you want
the 95, bro? The 2000.
I like the 2000.
I like the 2000.
No.
Yes.
Rob's 2000 made me throw up.
That 2000 was a piece of shit. The 95, and I made my car in high school.
If you want one of those,
like the 95.
If you want one of those 95s, I got a buddy in Florida that's got one.
No, I don't want one. But if I was going to 95, I would 1,000% go Mustang Cobra R over E36 lightweight any day.
Jack's Cobra R.
What did that one sell for? It was bid to 20 grand.
Yeah, that's cheap.
20,000.
It's cheap.
It was a no sale. It was bid to.
Oh.
I think they sell for like 30.
I still like the way these look. I do.
I'm telling you, I turned my GT and looked just like that.
I like that body style.
All the Cobra R bodywork, Cobra R wheels.
The Cobra convertible body, or the Cobra body style of that.
Yeah, it's the best. Those are great, and that's a fucking 351.
This one exhaust pipe's rusted and one isn't.
That's funny.
This is an old auction, but
but those I'll definitely go Team Cobra R versus. Let's go to the audience. Let's see what the fuck they got to say.
Yeah.
Radio delete.
Look at the interior is so bad.
Yep.
Just in general.
Yep. We got a bunch of questions. Great. Let's go to you guys. Let's leave those open for like 5 more minutes, and then we'll close out the questions for this show. Wiley's says, any experience with the 3-liter 6-cylinder diesel 1500 series trucks, Ram, Chevy, Ford? Not I. Honestly, I'm sorry.
Well, you should add Nissan to that list as well.
Is that the VM? No. Yeah. No, I haven't driven a single one. Have you?
I drove the Ram diesel,
and
it's like a diesel 1500 truck. I mean, it's not particularly quick, but it gets the job done. Does a ton of towing, and I like the diesel motors. The more after having the 3 Series diesel, I'm a big fan of it on all of the applications.
If you drive a diesel truck, and then if I drive a gas one, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this still?
So, I mean, any of them are decent. They're decent choices.
I'd probably be more likely to buy the diesel than the gas version of any of those trucks.
Yeah.
But I don't have any experience.
Neither do I.
Sorry, buddy. Scott says 997.1 GT3 or Ferrari 355 with a manual.
What's your service budget?
Yeah. Tolerance for pain, sir.
What do you want to do with it? Yeah.
If you have a passion for Ferraris and you've never owned one, that's a rough place to start.
Yeah, it's such a good-looking place to start.
Yeah, but they're just a pain in the ass. They're just the reason the 355
cost per mile, like one of the highest of any car ever.
Yeah, they're extraordinarily expensive to run, and whereas GT3s really aren't. And so if you actually need to use it as a car and count on it, I would say GT3. If you have a passion for Ferrari and you want one that works, get a 360 manual and put like a Capristo exhaust on it, and that'll get you most of the way there. It will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will. 355s are great, but there's a reason 355s are always 60 to 90 grand. Always.
Yeah.
Because every 5 years they need something that's 25 grand.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah. And even though they sound good and look good, like most people just don't want to fucking stomach that.
Well, and if you factor in the repair costs every 5 years, you can step up to a 360 probably pretty easily, right?
Yeah.
Which drives way better and performs much better.
Pretty good, yeah. The F1s eat clutches, but like the manuals are really good.
Yeah.
So yeah. James says an F355 should be like your other Ferrari. You should have a modern one that works, and then that one is like your side pussy Ferrari. And even if it fucks up, like you still have another Ferrari. Like that's when you should be looking at those.
That's a valid point.
Like it shouldn't even be forget your only sports car. It shouldn't even be your only Ferrari. That's the level you should be at to be fucking
so
with a
good and so
355.
bad all the same time.
Because that's how high maintenance it'll be.
Yeah.
But they are fun as a motherfucker to drive. They're really cool.
Mr. Wharton.
James wants to know, Vinny, should I get the M2 comp or yet another M3 as a new daily?
He's had an E36, E46, and E90.
Yeah.
He needs to go back to the V8 M3. I think that's where the sweet spot's going to become very shortly. Is going to be the going back to the V8 M3. I think that's going to be a little bit of a collectible.
Yeah, I'd buy the nicest E92 M3 I could find before buying an M2
The M2 comp is a fun car to drive. It's just so small. There's something about it just isn't the same.
It didn't make it to our top 6 at Performance Car of the Year. Just saying.
No, I say V8 M3 is is going to be the next fun thing to get.
There you go. Nick Albo says, should I buy a convertible K car for $1,000? It recently,
no, you should buy it for $500.
Did he wrote K, the letter K car? Now, does that mean that means a Chrysler K car, right? Like an Aries K?
That's what I'm assuming.
I hope he doesn't mean a Japanese K car convertible for $1,000, because I would say yes, you should if it's a Japanese.
I assume
K
for
car.
$1,000 you're not getting a Japanese K car.
Probably not.
So let's assume he means that, which means no, you should not spend $1,000 on it. You should, however, spend $500 on it. And anytime you buy a running driving car for $500, all of us can agree you should do that.
I agree. I would if he wants $1,000, you want to pay $500.
Yep.
Otherwise, he can sit on that bitch, sell it himself. Yeah, that's my move. Ryan says, I bought a BMW 335i 2011 after selling a Boxster because I like to work on it myself and didn't want to fuck with that. Do I need to use my turn signal in other cars? Haha. I'm looking at Seiko's.
Wow. This guy needs to take his Adderall.
All right, hang on a second. It's the consequences of a system where it's character based. Okay. See, the basic crux of the question is, what sub $600 watches do I recommend? My $500 watch recommendation, everybody write this down, is a Seiko Turtle. You can get them on Amazon. You don't have to even go to a store. You can get them in a bunch of different colors. You can get them with a rubber strap. You can get them with a metal strap. You can get them with there it is, the gold one I like right there. That's on the top. There's a gold one that I fuck with. It's right now. It was as low as $250 before Christmas. It's $314 right now. So I have the gold Seiko Turtle, and then I get the gold strap code Jubilee bracelet, which is like $150. So there's your $500 awesome watch that will last you 20 years. That's what I fuck with.
Good call.
Yeah. I don't know about the fancy watches. I think the Coutura might be like a dressy one. Larry wanted to give us a shout out. Larry's watching us live right now because he's learning how to do live streaming.
Hey Larry, Larry, this is how it works.
He gave us $20. Thank you, Larry.
Pretty awesome.
I want because
Larry, if this was your show, I'd have to give you $20.
That's exactly how it works. ZK says, how long would a $7,000 2006 BMW 760 have to last to be worth it?
If you got that thing home after you bought it, I'd be impressed.
There's nothing on a 760 that costs less than $7,000 to fix. I mean, I do not recommend. I mean, to be worth it, like that car is going to inconvenience you at a time you do not want to be inconvenienced.
It depends on how many miles you decide to put it on it for a year, but if you
I mean, worth it, like, compared to what? Like, if you were to buy a good used BMW, like, I don't know, to spend $20,000 on a 3 Series or something, how long would it take that car to depreciate $7,000 compared to this, right? Yeah. If you assume you're going to light a fire. Assume if you buy a BMW 760 for $7,000, at the end of your tenure, it'll be worth $0.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So it'll have cost you 14.
Yeah. And how, like, worth it is, like, how long would it take you to lose $7,000 in value in another vehicle? You know what I mean?
Do you just want to be able to pull up and tell your friends that you bought a V12, like it's a V12?
Yeah.
Because that kind of boasting will end the day that you have to take an Uber to meet your friends, and they say, "Where's your V12?"
And here's the other problem with that. You ever driven a 760? BMW's V12 sucks my asshole. It's a terrible V12. It's not exciting. It's not that powerful. Yeah. There's nothing about a 760 that is any better than a 750 or 45. Like, they're the same fucking car. Like, the only difference is when you're going full throttle, and that's like kinda. Like, they suck. They're just not that good. Like I wouldn't. And this person wants to own a V12. If you really want to own a V12, Mercedes. If it's not an Italian car, get a Mercedes. Yeah. It's a better V12.
Dude, you could get for cheapest, newest. The only thing I can think of is a Mercedes. Like, you can do an S600 CL, 600 for nothing. I mean, you see them for $2,000-$3,000. And the thing is, with the Mercedes, at least there's enough of them that were built that you can reach out to other owners and figure out what's actually wrong with it.
Right. But the problem with 600 Mercedes is they have a lot of unique parts.
Yeah.
Like, just the 600 uses certain things. Like, fucking brake pads and rotors are insanely expensive for a 600, whereas the 500 has smaller stuff that's shared with other models, and so it's not.
But you can go on the Mercedes forums or ask Mercedes techs and get answers.
Yeah.
Nobody that owns a 760, because if it breaks, they just throw it out. Nobody's trying to fix a 760.
I mean, the reason the only person that's buying cars like this at this price is like Hoovy, is because they can fix it, and they're making money by showing you how they're fixing it or not fixing it. But if you're just a person who wants to drive around and have something cool, this is the wrong choice for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, you might be able to find an Aston Martin DB7 V12 somewhere for like $30,000 and have something that like might work okay. Riley O'Brien says, I have $30,000. I need all-wheel drive, emphasis on power, not an STI. I'm worried about infinity steering feel or getting a Golf R that's beat up. Thoughts?
What's wrong with a BMW with the X-Drive?
Yeah, Vinny had a BMW 328 X-Drive wagon that you bought for $30,000. That was a lovely car and great in the snow.
Well, he says emphasis on power.
Well, so not a diesel.
Not a diesel. But there's still plenty of X-Drive BMWs that you can get with all-wheel drive.
You could find a 335 X-Drive, right?
Uh-huh.
Doesn't that exist?
Yeah.
You can get a variety of legacies. You can get so many cars come with all-wheel drive now.
Yeah, you can get a whole bunch of Audis, like Audi S3 for sure.
Oh yeah. Those are fun. Those are a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that gets you basically a Golf R, but it won't be as thrashed because it's not, the enthusiast choice. It's like mild sporting choice.
Yeah. And a Golf R with dual clutch is going to be less trash than a Golf R that's manual.
Good point.
Golf Rs, do people really buy Golf Rs to like beat on them? Is that a thing that happens?
I think most of the Golf Rs are just showpieces.
A little more mature.
I think they're slightly more mature than STI Evo owners. They were when I got a car, because it was more expensive. It's not, you can't throw as many mods on it than now you can with the good 2-liter. But I think it's a better choice. They're great cars. But if you want to avoid even someone who went, ooh, Golf R, I'm gonna get some like pipes and stuff. Find a person in their 30s that bought an S3.
Yeah.
I mean, also you could get a Focus RS that's used.
Just sit in the seat first.
Yeah, you really got to sit in it and make sure it fits you. But besides that, that's it's not an STI. It's a little more mature than an STI. It's a little nicer, and they're fucking fast. What does that say? Long Block says, I'm upgrading from a Mazda RX-8, which means anything. I'm split. All right,
sorry for your loss,
Had
buddy.
to do it. I'm split between a number of cars under $30,000 on the used market. All the usual suspects: Camaro, M2, old C6 Corvettes, Carreras. Anything I didn't mention? I mean, dude.
It's a pretty comprehensive list there.
Yeah, boxed Caymans, are in there. You can go oddball. You go JDM, right? You get yourself a Skyline. Get an R32 Skyline.
That'd be cool.
Or you get a 33 now.
Different. You can get an R33 Skyline now, although 30K is going to get you a pretty beat one.
You can get an E90.
You can.
Not a great one.
Yeah. You can get. There's
a bunch of AMG cars you could get at that.
It seemed. I'm assuming if you had an RX-8 and based on this list, you're more interested in like track work and pretty hard driving. I mean, if that's the case, I would.
Or you
go,
just like to be abused.
Or I'd go C6 Z06. Man, that car drives fantastic.
Yeah.
The interior will be a lateral move from the RX-8 interior.
Yeah, for sure. You can get custom seats in there easily.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the things I would be looking at, except for the Cayman you mentioned. So you've covered where my bases would be.
Yeah.
30K will also get you. I mean, I don't know how big you are, but a brand new ND MX-5, Miata with the new engine. If you like that light, flickable, good steering, is really, really fun. Jonathan says, semantics question. Saying I drove, so instead of, why am I dropping the? Instead of saying I drove an Aston DBS this week, I'm saying I drove Aston DBS this week. That is a shortening for social media, I believe, more than anything else. I mean,
fair enough.
Not all journalists quite seem to agree. I'm sure not all journalists agree because it's not really within the rules of English, and probably technically it's wrong.
Yeah,
but I think we're just used to finding ways to shorthand and to drop words. And I mean, why do we call in California? Why do we call it the 405 and the 101? Whereas on the East Coast, I don't call it the 95.
No,
it's just 95. Like, why is that? I don't know. It's just like, I think some of it could be.
You don't say the I-10.
Yeah, I haven't studied this, but like, go look where the people who talk like that are from. That might be California. It might be regional. It might be a certain group of friends. I don't know.
It's just a dialect.
Dialect is a good word for it. Yeah, I would say it's just an evolution of the language that has not happened at the same time to everybody. Right? Wyatt says, do you feel the handling of Charger RTs and Scat Packs are underrated by people who only look at numbers and haven't actually driven one? I have a blast with my 2012 Charger RT on Waterford Hills in Michigan, which I think is a track. If you go watch my Charger videos, every time I've driven them, the weight distribution is excellent. They're great for drifting. Mm-hmm. They're very fun to drive. They have pretty good steering for what they are. The Charger drives way better than the Challenger, which is significantly harder to control, I think.
I totally agree.
I mean, when you say underrated, just because they don't get used commonly as track cars? I mean, I'm not sure what he means by underrated, because I don't know too many people that. I mean, yeah, it's not laser sharp handling, but I don't know anybody that really dogs the way that car drives.
I think the Demons and the Hellcats get all the attention. And like, I remember when the Scat Pack came out, I mean, I didn't know that it was a callback to a thing they sold in the 60s, but I've
really
heard
sounds
from people.
A lot like poo, doesn't it?
I mean, in modern terms, in the 50s, 60s, they had no idea.
Nobody said, hey, guys, this sounds like poo.
Little scat play?
Language has changed in the last 50 years.
Scat play?
But I don't know. I've heard from journalist Sam Smith, I think, said that the Scat Packs are really good. Like, the suspension set up well. It just doesn't have the crazy power of the Demons. And so people they don't throw it on the cover of the magazine because it's not as crazy. But
a Charger 392 is a lovely car.
I drove one of those 2 years ago. It's great. Yeah, really fun.
We got to call. I want to call Scott and see if I want to try that wide body Charger. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mustache Mitchell. Let's see. I'm getting out of a supercharged 27 Mustang, and I'm looking to get into a C6 Z06 or C7 Z51. I don't think you'll miss the power. He wants to know, should I miss the power? I don't think you'll miss the power because I think in the real world, a C6 Z06 is just as fast in a straight line as a 700 horsepower Mustang.
Yeah.
Because 700 Mustang horsepower isn't the same as Corvette horsepower or Porsche horsepower. And the fucking highway not the highway, I'm sorry, runway racing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a Z06 like with heads and a cam will outdrag a Mustang GT with a blower on it in the half mile.
Ooh, I wonder what the CFD
weight
is.
And
of
aero
those. Yeah.
and grip and weight distribution. I mean, if you can stretch for a C7 Grand Sport, that's really where that's the fucking money move, right? That's really where it's at. That was the most fun of the C7s I had, was the Grand Sport. And the Z51 is pretty good, but like if you can stretch to the Grand Sport, that would get me out of the C6 Z06. Because those are nice too. They have some like, what is it, the lifters? What's the issue they have with the heads?
Which car?
C6 Z06,
Z06?
LS7. Isn't there a thing with the
they
lifters
had
or something?
They had some issues with the heads, but I think most of that's probably been sorted out by now.
Yeah. I don't think you'd miss that horsepower because I think those Corvettes in reality would be just as fast.
Go drive them both and see which one you like better.
That too, but that's not what we're here for. Be nice.
So Larry texted me. He said that YouTube deleted his question, which is the second time that's happened today.
Huh.
So he posted it. He needs a new daily driver.
Larry does?
Larry needs a new daily driver. Is Macan a good choice?
Oh yeah, the Macan is the best choice. Larry needs a crossover.
Can Larry fit in a Macan?
Yeah, he's 6'3". He's skinny as fuck. He has a kid who I think is probably old enough now that he's maybe not in a car seater anymore, or is gonna not be in a car seat soon.
He's not bringing
How
strollers
old is Wes?
around.
4 maybe? When are you not in a car seat anymore? 6? He probably still needs a car seat.
If he doesn't need to drag a stroller around anymore, then the Macan's probably okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The Macan is the best driving crossover.
Yeah.
It's just the most expensive. So if
Larry's real long and gangly. I just feel like the Macan's gonna be small for him. But
it's not that small. He's not taller than me.
He looks taller because
his seating position.
He also
like
does sit in the gangster lean.
Oh, he does.
He does drive gangster.
Even though he does
lean.
all those track days and
He should look at that Mercedes, the Mercedes GLC 63,
Also
which is
an
more
option.
expensive.
Yeah.
It's like $90,000 maybe, but it's got a hot rod motor in it that's quite delightful.
Yeah.
And you can get a tune on that and get 100 horsepower because it's a V8.
Yo, bro, can you put burble on that?
Burble tune, flame tune, burble tune. Yeah, I still say I think the Macan.
I think the Macan's a great choice.
S with a tune.
If he's
or
comfortable,
GTS
if he's
is a
comfortable
gem.
in it, that's a great truck.
they're really good.
Yeah.
Someone asked if I would drive a first-gen Civic for one take. Yes, if it was modified. They're great.
Modified,
Civics are fun.
what if it was mint?
If it was super mint, yes, because I want to. It's fun to see where things come from.
Yeah.
But if it's got like an intake and that's it, probably not.
Dan says this summer I'm taking a car-themed 4-day LA trip with my pops. We're going to rent an R8 on Turo, hit the canyons, go to Cars and Coffee. Oh, the PEC morning shift.
Yeah,
I'll probably, I will be there. I pretty
Peterson.
much go to all of them. Go to the Peterson Museum. What else should we do? Well, you drive up PCH and go to Neptune's Net, which is where they talk about race wars and Fast and Furious. They actually have good seafood. Eat at Bill's, the Malibu Kitchen and Gourmet. That's where I hang out. Car things. I mean, you could do something like Drift 101. You can go out to Willow Springs and book with Naoki and do some drifting with your dad. You
could go to Fontana. You could do the
karting,
exotics racing stuff, or go karting.
Exotics racing at Fontana.
Track
That's a good one.
Any of the track stuff is good. I mean, if you're gonna hit the canyons and the Malibu beach drive at PCH, then the next thing you got to do is track stuff.
You can go to 60th and Crenshaw like 2 a.m. and watch illegal drag racing. Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not.
You can also go to Magic Mountain on a weekday because it's the shit. Just saying. I think with 4 days, if you're doing those things you listed,
that's pretty
plus
cool.
Maybe a spin through exotics racing, maybe some karting out at Fontana or Willow Springs. They both have great karting. You could also do like K1, but K1 kind of sucks. Yeah, I think that'll be a fun trip. Just don't try and cram in too much shit. Smoke some legal weed. Enjoy your time here.
Exactly.
Caleb says, I live in Utah and have a full bolt-on BMW 135i and a 4Runner. I'm looking at an all-wheel drive sedan for my long commutes. What do you think about the G70 or Stinger, a used BMW 650, or an Audi RS3?
All
if you can
decent
afford an
choices,
RS3,
actually. Yeah.
that's delicious. RS3 is good. Genesis G70, very good.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to be the same price, the RS3 is going to be more.
The G70 will be a little more comfortable for a commute. The RS3 is a little stiffly sprung, I think.
It could be,
compared to those. Yeah.
The
and
G70
is the RS3 is manual?
What?
Is the RS3 manual?
No, dual clutch only.
Dual clutch, yeah.
Right? It's dual clutch only, right?
I believe so.
I think it's dual clutch. But the G70 you want with the all-wheel drive and the big motor is also automatic.
Yeah.
And very nice interior.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
They do
the Genesis products are great. If you can get past its heritage of where it's from, I mean, and you can easily get S-Class quality stuff for like half price.
It's not S-Class quality.
Oh, sure it is.
It's not S-Class quality, but it is very nice. Honestly, I liked the G70 better than I liked any of the last 3 series range. Seriously.
Yeah.
G70's dope. I would look at that. Or G70 or RS3 is where I'm at.
Yeah.
Trent says, even though you're not the biggest Tesla fans, what are your thoughts on the 2020 Roadster? It looks, he thinks it looks hot. I mean, where is it at? 2020. It is 2020. You know, cars that are 2020 model years are usually out already.
Clock is ticking.
It's very good looking.
It's cool looking.
It's very good looking.
Oh, you meant this 2020. There's another one coming around, right?
Yeah.
No? Oh, shit.
I mean, I do think it looks cool. It's got some McLaren. It's got some Tesla.
Got a little angry Lambo there in the front.
Some Fisker, some Karma. But, you know, it's I believe they can build this. Unlike the Cybertruck, I believe I'm not the Tesla freaks are like, well, everyone doubted they could build. It's like, no one doubted they could build the Model S or Model 3 or Model X. Those are normal looking cars. I said those gullwing doors are going to be a big fucking problem, and guess what? I was right. But but no one was like, they can't build that with it. Whereas the Cybertruck, it's still kind of up in the air.
I think the thing with this is, like, weren't they claiming really, 1.90 to 60, like numbers that we're not sure tires can handle? I mean, stuff like that. But
it can. You throw enough horsepower in an EV, it can. So you built a dragster. Good for you.
Mm-hmm. Like anything else with Tesla, I'll reserve my right until it actually exists.
Yeah.
And I've driven it.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
It's a nice design. I'd like to see a real one.
Yeah.
Projects Forever says, get Zwart to drive the Trackhawk with a canoe on the roof. Zwart and his carbon fiber canoe.
Ooh.
Can we get him to betray Porsche?
What's the fastest canoe there's ever been?
I don't know. He's got a carbon fiber canoe, though. It's sick. Says, should I buy an E36 M3, Honda Ridgeline, or a Steely Dan? Thank you, sir. All right. Anything
What's
else?
a Steely Dan?
It's nothing. It's just a play on my fucking people not really knowing how to ask for car advice.
Oh, that's pretty funny. I thought it was like a watch or something I don't know about.
No. Should I get a CPO Jag XF wagon? Is it worth it to be unique?
It is a unique car.
XFs are old, bro.
Yeah,
they
are.
feel old.
The technology is real old.
Yeah, and okay, the wagon's cool. Who do you need to show off to in your uniqueness? You know what I mean? Like, what sacrifices do you need to make to be unique? Like,
we had one in Proving Grounds last year, and it was like, it's very pretty, and it drove pretty well, but it was. We also had a red Buick wagon a few months beforehand. If you take the Buick badge off,
same
very
shit,
similar
right?
shape, everything, speed.
Or he could buy a half a dozen Caprice wagons. And be unique every day of the week. Have one for every day.
I mean, they're cool. Like the Jag XF wagon is a gorgeous looking car, but I don't know. Used Jaguar. How do they do? How do they do now? I don't know.
I mean, they're cheap. I'm driving a used Jaguar at the moment.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I just he said to be unique, etc. No. If you want to be unique, get something that's actually unique.
Can you get like a used E300 wagon here? Because the interior of Mercedes would be much nicer.
350 wagon.
You can get Mercedes wagons.
Yeah.
I would get a Mercedes. I'd rather drive a Mercedes wagon for sure.
Yeah.
Dominic Boyer says, I just bought an 05 Forester XT manual. How should I mod it? It's my daily in Colorado.
Hell yeah, man. Stage 2.
Lift it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1552 tarmacs, knobbies, bash bars, overland it.
Yep.
I saw an overland member at PEC. Oh, were you? I don't know if you were there. I saw that an overland cross trek.
Oh, yeah.
And it was real cool. I was very much about it.
You see them around here a lot, even with like knobby tires and rally armor. What am I looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Mud flaps and shit.
Yeah,
They're cool.
Yeah, racks. I would do that. Get your basic bolt-ons, tune, intercooler, tune, exhaust, and then mild Safari.
Yep.
Daniel says, I have $10,000 to spend on a fun car. Oh my God, we have so many. Cut it off. Should I get a 07 Boxster or a Mark 7 GTI?
Boxster.
Oh no, GTI. 07
for 10
fuck out of
grand.
here.
Yeah,
no
GTI.
such thing as a $10,000 Boxster. It doesn't exist. Should we have an OG? The grand opening of the new studio. When are we going to do that? Thad, Chris, Nino, and Tom. So
Wow.
Tom's recovering. A tree fell on Tom. No shit. A tree fell on Tom.
A big. I have a photo I'll find of the log. It's quite sizable.
And the irony of all that, he's okay. He's recovering. The irony of this is that he's building a log cabin in the woods, right? By himself with like very basic tools. He's like camping out there. And he's building this log cabin in the woods. That's what he's doing with himself. That's not when the tree fell on him. He was just at his parents' house, chilling in their backyard, just walking, and a fucking tree fell on him randomly. And the log is real big. I mean, the log is
like
probably
6 inches, not diameter, like across.
diameter,
not
and
radius.
probably
I mean,
4.5 feet long, and it
Yeah,
landed
but I don't want to
on his head.
I don't want to get hit with a baseball bat, and that's.
It basically landed on his head, and so he broke a couple things.
It looks like the log Mr. Miyagi tried to chop in half at the end of the movie.
So the answer to that is some point, yes.
Yeah.
Soon, probably not.
Okay.
Although, man, we're running up on 500, aren't we?
Yeah,
What are we at?
I think we just published like 493.
Oh man, we got to figure out what we're doing. Are we doing something?
We just published
493. So we got to figure out when that's happening and do something. All right, mental note: do a thing for 500 episodes. Chris Murphy says, what would be a better entry-level track weekend car? A modified E30 with engine swap and suspension? Oh, my God. Or an E36 M3 with suspension upgrades? Listen. 2011 Mustang GT Maximum Motorsports suspension. Done.
Call it a day.
$15,000. Done. $15,000 to $18,000. Done. The best entry-level track weekend car is one that you are driving, that works, that you are not wrenching on. A 15-year-old E36 M3. You don't need suspension upgrades either, and certainly not an engine-swapped 30-year-old E30.
No.
Something that you can turn the key and drive. And 400 horsepower, Coyote-powered Mustang, maximum motorsport suspension, decent set of wheels and tires. You're done. That car works. Caleb says, I rented... Oh, sorry, no. I need a removable steering wheel to be able to get out of my Porsche 944 that I'm learning to race in. What size is the best? Well, how do you like your stock steering wheel? If you like your stock steering wheel, you should try to get as close as you can to that size. You have to recognize that the smaller your steering wheel gets, the more direct seeming your steering wheel feel, but the harder effort you will need to turn the wheel. So the 944 has a pretty big wheel from the factory, and that's because it has power steering, I believe, doesn't it? Do 944s have power steering? They do, I think.
Yeah.
But it doesn't boost very much. And so I don't recommend getting too small of a wheel. I recommend measuring the stock wheel.
Plus, if it's removable, it doesn't matter. If it's bigger, it's not going to be in your way getting in and out. That's the whole point of it.
And also consider the dish of the wheel. Do you want it flat or do you want a deep dish? Think about your stock wheel, and is that too far from you? Is that how do you like that? If you want it to be closer, you can add some dish to the wheel as well. Josh says, do we know this a plumbing? Someone on YouTube? I don't know.
They built a compound-boosted snowmobile-powered MG Midget.
No, but I've seen that kind of thing before.
Lemons. Someone ran that with a Miata, I think.
Yeah.
It was really fast.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I can't answer these regular bullshit questions anymore. I'm sorry.
No.
Let's look for some highlights before we call the game, because it's been 90 minutes. Thoughts on the Factory 5 F9R concept? Could build your own kit cars have a big place in the future for car enthusiasts? The kind of people who want to build their own kit cars are out there, and it's pretty much going to be the same percentage of people I think it's always been. I think most people don't actually want to build their own cars.
Because they're not usually that cheap. I mean, if you want to jump in a car and drive it, especially if you want to wrench on it, like you can get like a Miata. or something like that. Especially, what isn't the F9R? Doesn't that come with a Subaru power plant?
No, that's the 818. I'm not sure what
What's the
F9R is. You want to get us a picture of that?
That might be. Is that their
The
new
A18
is that their new V12?
Oh my God, a V12?
Yeah, it
The
is.
818
Yeah.
is not. Oh wow, so it's like a budget Lexus LFA Aston
But V12
Zagato
powered.
thing with a V12.
Yeah, they had that at their display at Barrett-Jackson.
2,400 pounds, 104-inch wheelbase.
Where do you get the V12? What the fuck? I mean, I just, yeah, God, here's the problem. Listen, here's the problem. Does someone that wants a 2,400 pound car want that car to be a front engine V12? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not really sure. Having driven a couple of their cars, I didn't like them. I mean, they weren't great. I mean, the fine details were not there, and that is reflected in the price. And it pains me to think about it, but it might also be reflected in what happens if you crash one. I don't know. But like that 818 was not a finished product. It just wasn't. So my recommendation is to embrace the fact that vehicle manufacturers have done a lot of engineering that is very expensive, and there's laws and stuff for that, and I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Oh, so it looks like it's a mid front engine. I mean, judging by this picture of the chassis, the engine is definitely behind the front axle. This was a prototype chassis, and they had a 750 horsepower engine in it, 9.5 liters.
Does that say V12 LS?
V12, yeah, V12 LS.
So they take an LS and they upsize it by 50%.
They cut half the LS.
But you can use, but the chassis will accept a Ford crate engine or an LS, and now a V12 if you want.
I mean, it's interesting. I hope somebody buys that shit. I'm not really interested in it.
I do want to hear that V12 LS running though. It could be a cool sounding car.
I mean, I'd like to drive it, but I think I think his question of, is this a thing that a car enthusiast will have a big place? I think no, because kit cars have been out for 40 years.
Yeah.
Like
it's always been a small subsection.
Well, here's
of
the thing:
people.
is I don't think it's going to be a big place, but it's always going to have a place because, like
Correct.
you said, kit cars have been around for 40 years. There's, if anything, they've gotten more popular in the last 40 years. Like the technology's gotten better, the options have gotten better. You got more choices of what you have because you can do the Factory 5 V12 supercar, or you could do the Factory 5 like 39 Ford hot rod. So I don't think is it ever going to take over the industry? No, but there's always going to be that kit car thing there because everybody's going to want to build their own car. Some people will, like you said.
It'll be interesting if we see a shift from when I was a kid, building kit like 32 Fords and 33 Fords is really popular, and then Cobras, and now obviously like as generations get over hot rodding, because a lot of the generations that are into them die, is it going to be replaced by more modern looking kit stuff?
It might, yeah.
I don't know. Or we'll use things be so good.
There's
that
definitely
there won't be a
room
reason.
for more specialty vehicles, right? For low volume stuff, that's really targets the enthusiast as they become fewer and fewer kind of pure, stuff like the Saleen S1 thing, which if that gets off the ground, and Lotus, and maybe Ariel or BAC with the mono or stuff like that. But I think most people want a car that's built for them.
Built by somebody else.
I'm sorry. I know everyone has donated funds in order to get their questions answered, and we can save some, but I really kind of want to stick to something different. Or
what was your top car at Barrett-Jackson, Vinny?
Favorite thing you saw at Barrett?
Me personally, there was a GTX convertible that I just fell in love with. Black on black, 4-speed manual, clean, slightly modded, not too crazy. That was probably my favorite car there. There was also there was a lot of really cool hot rods, like from the 20s and 30s, like the older hot rods. I think that there was some really neat stuff there. That and the family truckster.
Dylan's question. I like it. I'm buying a vacation house in Antigua and cobblestone streets.
Ooh.
Suggestions for a $15,000 car I can safari and take down there. Homie, Mitsubishi Delica.
Yeah.
buy a really nice Delica, and it will be perfect. Short wheelbase, 4x4, 6-passenger, air conditioning, captain's chairs. It will be fantastic for cruising around the islands. I'm so super about that. Anything else before we get out of here, Zach?
I like these two. These are more subjective. Would we rather see Honda make a front-engine, rear-drive car to compete with the Supra, or would we rather have Toyota make a mid-engine car to go against the NSX?
Ooh. Well, I'd like to see Lexus do a mid-engine car. I think that'd be cool. I think if they did something with that 5-liter V8 mounted behind the driver, I think it'd be really rad.
With some of the LC design language, it'd be sweet.
Yeah, it'd be super cool. I'd like to see Honda make a new S2000.
Yeah.
I think that it was a great car and a great opportunity for them. And I think the success of the Type R maybe have given them some confidence. I'd like to see a new S2000.
Yeah, I would too.
Why does everyone hate the GTR now? Is it because this is Big Baby's question, mostly unchanged since 2009, or because it's a YouTube meme car?
I mean, answered your own question there, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, the GTR in 2009 had 480 horsepower, but it looked pretty much like it looks now. And it was what, $75,000 or $80,000.
Half the price.
The GTR Nismo that we had at P. Cody was $212,000.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I drove that GTR at P. Cody, I mean, it was 100 degrees outside, but the Viper, the GTR was the only car of the test that noticeably cut power to me because of the heat, and it cut a lot of it. And so for
200,
yeah, I mean, I don't know about people say, why does everyone hate the GTR now? I don't know about anyone else. I was never that into them to begin with. I always respected what they could do, but I never was like, this is my shit.
No, I just thought the style just really never did anything for me.
No.
Really didn't.
But
in fact, we went to Japan for driving NBC Sports, and I spent 3 days driving the Track Edition, Black Edition, Nismo Edition, whatever the best one was there at the time, 2015, 16?
Trismo.
16, the Gizmo. I drove that for 3 days and then got out of it and got in a stock, rented, pretty beat R34 GTR, excuse me, and immediately had a way better time. I had so much more fun driving the beatest R34 GTR around than driving the mintest, fastest, most powerful R35.
How many hours had you spent in R35s versus 34s at that point? Do you think it was one of those like this is like a rarity thing and a special thing? Because
I've done it sometimes a bunch since and it's not worn off.
Okay,
I did the New Zealand. I did the 1,000 horsepower, and then I drove a tuned one here, and then I had the stock one, and I was so impressed with the stock one. The stock one was so fun. It's like, yeah, tuning those cars is cool, but like also stock is really, really good with the Skyline. Yeah,
such good cars.
Last question before we get out of here. Did we see Gale Banks with the twin-turbo Mopar Pantera built for Carroll Shelby? He talked about that shit when he was on the show. I don't know if it was the most recent appearance, but he's definitely talked about it before. There was a Pantera that has this twin-turbo V8 in it. Is it a V8 or a 10? Is it 10?
No.
It's a big twin-turbo motor. There was like it was like a Viper test mule, basically. They originally were going to make a mid-engine twin-turbo thing, and they ended up not doing that. And so, but the Pantera is still around. It's cool. Gale Banks did a twin-turbo Pantera. Yay. What do we got rest this week, Zach? We're back Wednesday, I believe.
Wednesday
with someone you know.
I forgot his name. Daniel. He wrote a article and did a multi-part podcast. He's a journalist for the LA Times.
Is it Daniel Miller?
Yes.
Daniel Miller, right.
And so he did like a 7-part podcast all about street racing in the 60s and 70s after the Watts riots. And like this guy basically helped a bunch of the gangs kind of stop fighting as much, and they like came together over street racing, and the LAPD was like there and sanctioned it, and one of the mayor at the time was like into it. It was like, so it was a really cool story about this guy named Big Willie and how he put that whole thing together. So Daniel's going to talk about that.
That sounds cool. That's cool. Wednesday, afternoon at 5 or something like that? Yeah. We'll put it up when we get there. I'm kind of stoked about that. That sounds really interesting. And then Musto's in town. We may be able to squeeze a show with him in tomorrow afternoon, maybe, but also maybe not because it's Vinny's birthday tomorrow.
Damn it.
How fucking old are you? 43?
Yeah.
43 tomorrow?
Yeah.
You're a good young 43.
Yeah. 43 going on 4 is what tennis usually says.
And you have a new truck toy.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay. All kinds of
Video side, I drove the Porsche 962 on the street, Le Mans car on the street, which is fucking absurd. And the video is like, I saw Uncut Gems, the Adam Sandler movie.
How
Did you
was
see
it?
Uncut
We didn't get a
Gems?
chance to
Zack?
talk about
I
that.
saw a trailer. So
the trailer represents the movie very well.
Okay.
But the movie intentionally induces anxiety in your audience. And so, those situations where, let's say you're driving down the street and you're on the phone. And maybe you shouldn't be maybe you're using your handset like you shouldn't be, right? And then you find a spot and you're going to parallel park. Well, now you're on the phone while driving parallel parking, right? Now, mid parallel park, another phone call comes in. And then, like, do you get the panic?
Yeah, right.
You just
You're
go
like,
into
shut
that
the fuck
panic
up.
shutdown.
Yeah.
So there's multiple scenes in this film where things just keep coming. And it's just a panic. And Adam Sandler, I'm not going to give the movie away, but Adam Sandler is the kind of person in this movie where every time he has an opportunity to make a decision, any kind of decision, he chooses the worst possible thing he could do, and then he just continually tries to dig himself out at just making it worse, but it just keeps piling up and piling up. That's basically how this movie works. And oh fuck, why was I talking about it? The video thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm driving this Porsche 962 on the street, and the video, I'm just driving it. I'm just driving it from the PEC to West Side, but like it's just so much anxiety in the fucking video. Like I'm not doing anything. Like I'm going the speed limit basically, and it's just so much anxiety. Oh, I haven't put it in the playlist yet, asshole. Gotta do that shit. Go watch that. It's the Porsche, the Koenig C62 is a $1.5 million street legal Porsche Le Mans racer. That is there it is. Zack has it. Those are the other Koenig cars. There it is. It's fucking ridiculous. It's just the silliest car. It's probably good at like over 100 miles an hour, but it's not good at 20.
You would know it by looking at it. Jeez.
So anyway, that video is up now, and it's just ridiculous. Anyway, that's our show. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And do we need to promote anything?
Nope.
Nope. All right, great. Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a microphone and connection to the internet, and ideally something to say. We'll see you back here Wednesday afternoon. Have a good evening. Bye.